This meeting is being recorded.
Rob Kendall, along with Tyler Bless, the head coach of the Plainfield Quakers. Coach, huge win on Friday night. What an exciting game. I'm sure you'd like it to not always be that close, but, man, your team knows how to win close games.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning. And, ways to win, which is better than finding ways to lose. So we'll take it.
When you look at a ball game like that, where your team, it felt like, should win the game, kind of had control of the game, and then you're down to that final stretch, those final 5 minutes where, wow, maybe we won't win this game. Kind of walk through the thoughts that are in your head, because that's got to be just such a swing of emotions.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was, going back and looking at the whole week, it was a little bit of a different routine for us because it was Labor Day and we didn't have school. And then we had a teacher in-service day on Tuesday, so it was a different schedule for all of us. So certainly a different week. Felt like the game itself, we had a good start, and then kind of got ourselves in a dogfight in the fourth quarter, kind of going back and forth mentally of like, okay, how did we get here? What did we do wrong, type of thing, or what could we have done better? But like I said, our guys found a way to get a stop out of that last series, and their attempt at the field goal, I think we got a hand on it. But certainly going back and forth, and on offense, at least in the second half, I think we only got really 3 possessions, and one of those was a scoring drive. The other 2 were 3 and out. So not what we wanted on offense, but our defense had our back and finally found a way to get a stop and earn the win.
Yeah, you mentioned the offense in the second half, and I want to get to some specific individual performances in a minute, but you mentioned the lack of possessions, and Perry Meridian really did a nice job, especially when they ran kind of out of that direct snap formation, running the ball well. That's got to be frustrating as a coach, saying not only are they moving the ball, but we can't get our effective offense back on the field.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the third quarter, and Perry Meridian started with the ball. Our defense did a great job of getting a 3 and out. We got the ball back on offense, and then we went on a long drive. We converted on third down, ended up getting a touchdown pass to Jameer Bowie. That put us up 21-14. And then after that, our defense was back on the field for a long drive. I think we either got a stop or maybe an interception, but then our offense just we went 3 and out right there, and then giving the ball back to them and putting our defense back on the field where, I would have liked to see our offense get a couple first downs there, get a drive going where we can chew some clock up, try to wear them down. And unfortunately, we're not able to do that, put our defense back out on the field. And I believe they went down and scored. And then again, we found ourselves kind of in the same position, had a opportunity to move the ball out of being backed up on the -2 and went 3 and out and gave them the ball with about, I think it was like around 5 minutes left in the game. And fortunately for us, our defense bowed up and got a stop and blocked that field goal that they attempted to go and take the lead.
Yeah, let's talk about some individual performances. If you were going to have an offensive MVP, it would have to be Luke Starnes, I would think. He just did a phenomenal job rushing the football.
Yeah, he played extremely well again for us, and was very happy to see him, just continue to have success in our run game and his ability to catch the ball when we throw it to him. But we were pleased with his efforts, and most of our offensive players played a very clean game. And would have liked to seen our receivers catch the football a little bit more consistently. But I do think their perimeter blocking was much improved from last week. So quarterback played well. He can kind of controlled our offense, didn't put us in bad situations, got rid of the football when he needed to, and he also rushed the ball effectively. So overall, I was pleased, and Luke is, Luke's doing a good job for us in the run game and keeping us, in front of the sticks to have chances to spread the ball out to everybody else.
We were talking during the broadcast about the receivers, and obviously, as you kind of mentioned, there were a couple of pretty catchable balls that weren't caught. These are high school kids, and we were kind of, we're saying, we're going to work on this, and they'll probably work on this in practice next week. And then I was thinking, what do you really work on? Like, do you just tell them, hey, you guys better catch that ball next time? Like, what do you actually work on?
I mean, I think just the emphasis of just being, consistent in everything that we do in practice. I didn't Honestly, didn't think we had a very good week of practice from our whole team perspective. I think that's that's one of our challenges for this week going into homecoming week and going into playing Greenwood at home is, we have to have a better better week of practice Monday through Thursday, and can't just assume things are going to happen good for us on Friday. So it's probably an overall mindset in terms of just how I attack the day and how, I can bring energy and focus to what I'm doing at that particular period of the drill or period of practice. So I don't think it's all just the wide receivers. I think it's a team emphasis this week of just, locking in a little bit tighter and trying to make sure we're going 1-0 throughout the week so that we can go 1-0 on Friday nights.
We love watching you during the broadcast, Coach, because you get animated from time to time. And full disclosure,
Great.
used to do that with your dad too. That was a fun thing for us to comment on. And we love you, Coach, because and let me give you a specific example. At the end of the game, you guys win this game, and it's this dramatic finish. And we said we have mad respect for the coach because there's something he's upset about, and he is letting these officials know after the buzzer has sounded what he's upset about. What were you having a polite adult conversation with those officials about?
Yeah, it was very polite, very respectful. Was just having a very clean adult conversation. There was maybe some agree to disagree communication between me and that official, but honestly, I was just trying to make sure that we were under the time that we could be to take a knee. So that we didn't have. So I knew they had one timeout left, and I knew that he was going to use it after the first down. I told our quarterback Hunter, kind of take a knee. Maybe not as soon as you get the snap, like let the rush kind of come to you to try to bleed as much clock off. Obviously, he did that, and then that's where kind of some agreement to disagreement came in with the official and I. I just wanted to make sure that we were going to be under the time so that we could take 3 knees. We'd be under 40 seconds on the last one, and the game would be concluded. So that's as far as I'm going to go with the rest of that story.
Well, we're big fans, and we always like to talk about when we see you having passion for the game. Chip off the old block, so to speak.
Yep.
All right, so let's talk about the team where we're at now. You're 4-0. Obviously, you're ranked in the top 10. I would assume one of the things you are doing now is telling your kids, hey, look, ratings don't really mean anything. You're 4-0. You got Greenwood coming up this week. Does that now become part of the equation to say, hey, look, not only do we have to prepare for the next team, but we've also got to keep these kids kind of in check and in perspective of what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I think and I hope that Friday's game was a wake-up call that you can't really just go through the motions throughout the week and expect to play really well and have the opponent not play to maybe what you think they are. So that's on us as coaches. We this was a little bit of a, in my opinion, kind of a trap game from last week because of how big the win was versus Mooresville. And then again, you bring in Labor Day week and have school off for 2 days. So I'm glad that the Perry Meridian game, kind of has happened and we were able to earn victory. But now you kind of look at the rest of the Mid-State Conference. There was 3 games out of the 4 games on Friday night that all finished in 1 point, wins or losses. So the conference is wide open. Fortunately for us, we're in control of our destiny, but I'm going to be very coach talk here, but we got to take it one day at a time. We got to take it one game at a time, because as soon as you start looking ahead, I'm like, well, we got this team and we got that team. That's when you're going to lose your focus on the opponent that you have for this week, and you're going to be in a dogfight, and it might not go our way. So it's part of it. But I think our kids are obviously mature enough, I hope, to understand how important homecoming is for our school and for our community. Our job is to win the football game, obviously, but it's just another opportunity for us to go in front of our home stands, which it has been awesome. Our support in our community and our schools, our student section, everything has been awesome in terms of our home game. So I'm just happy that we get 2 in a row at home and a chance to go 1-0 again on Friday.
Let's thank our sponsors who are making our broadcast possible all year long. CJ's Pizza, Whitlow's Towing, Gunnell Financial, Remax Centerstone, Julia Burbridge, BGW Construction, Porter Hair Design, Holly Porter, My IT Indy, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, Ellis and Associates, Remax. So I don't know. I'm sure you're aware of this, but you guys are kind of in uncharted territory now, which seems weird because Plainfield has had some really good football teams since we've been doing their games. But I believe this is the first 4-0 start since in 17 years for the Plainfield Quakers. What do you attribute to, if you were to, hey, look at these 4 games, what's sort of the overarching theme to say this is why we're winning?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first 4-0 start since Coach Woodard's first year back in 2006. So that was 17 years ago, and that's awesome that we're in that position. But I think the way that we're in that position is our guys are just truly finding ways to win football games when in whatever fashion it is, whether it's 32-13 like it was against Terror South, and we kind of controlled that second half, or we had to go kind of from behind at home versus Harrison and score in the fourth quarter and run a 4-minute offense to kind of execute that win. So each win's been its own unique way, but I think a lot of the testament goes to the kids that have played a lot of football for us. They've been in these situations. They've kind of have felt defeat and the other side of it, where we lost some games last year early on where we're banged up. We didn't have our full arsenal of guys, and that kind of shows the character that we have in our program of guys that just want to find ways to win games rather than find ways to lose games. I mean, that's easier said than done, but you look around in football from youth to middle school to high school to college, NFL, it's hard to win a football game. And if it's by 1 point or if it's by 50 points, you better celebrate it. You better enjoy it, because they're not always guaranteed. They're not just a sure thing. So a huge testament to our kids and our seniors for just, really believing in themselves and believing in the teammates and the coaches to just continue to find ways to win. So I'm extremely happy to be 4-0. I know our coaching staff is. I know our players are, our parents, our school, our community. So we're going to take it. I know, I say it all the time, but we're going to take it one day at a time, and we're going to try to put the best team on the field Friday night for us to go 1-0 on Friday.
We were talking with somebody up in the press box, one of the fine people, and you got some obviously great staff year in and year out who run the clocks and do the announcing and everything. And we were saying, you could make a compelling case that especially when you factor in the size of the schools, that your conference is the most competitive conference in the entire state of Indiana. I mean, just week in and week out, there are no pushovers anymore. There were when we started doing this all these years ago, but now every game, I mean, even Perry Meridian, who Plainfield has kind of had their way with, as you guys saw, they're much improved. There are no freebies in this conference.
No, there's not. And I mean, Perry is probably the best 1-3 football team in the state of Indiana right now. I mean, those kids played extremely hard. They want to win. Their coaches do a great job putting them in positions to win. I'm thankful that we play them week 4, and they're in 6A, and they're going to go probably play some other teams in our league that they're going to give a good fight to. So they're improving. Everyone else is improving. I mean, like I said earlier, you see Martinsville beat Decatur by 1. Franklin beat Whiteland by 1. We obviously beat Perry by 1. So it's week in and week out. It's really good. It's really good football. It's really good coaches. They're really good players. It probably takes a backseat to the MIC and the HEC of it's not 6A football. We're we've got teams that are in 4A. We got teams that are in 5A. We got a team that's in 6A. And week in and week out, those teams are finding ways to just compete within each other. So I love the conference. Obviously, I've been in it most of my life with a player or being a player, and then now being a coach in it. So I'm just fortunate to be in the position that I'm in.
All right, so let's take a look ahead to Friday night as Greenwood, a very good Greenwood team, comes to Plainfield. It's homecoming. Kind of just take us through what the Woodmen bring to the table, and then obviously you touched on a little bit earlier, but the homecoming aspect, your first homecoming as a head coach.
Yeah, I mean, again, Greenwood's one of those teams that's getting better. That's much improved. They have a new football coach, and Justin Bozier. They're 3-0 going into last week, and then got beat by Mooresville at home. But they've got a team that is kind of a wide range of grades. They've got some freshmen playing in some spots. They've got sophomores playing in spots, and then they've got a quarterback that we faced last year, Brock Riddle. That's a good player, and it's a new offense this year with their new head coach coming in, but they're more, spread it out, trying to throw it a little bit more here. They're having him run the ball. They're obviously running the ball with the running back, but they're a good football team. They're finding ways to compete. They got 3 good wins under their belt, and like I said, had a hiccup Friday versus Mooresville, but I expect them to come into our place, ready to compete and give us a great game. So with it being homecoming, like I said earlier, it's our job as coaches and players to win the game and have everybody else enjoy their week, and all the school spirit and all the things that is tradition here at Plainfield. We'll continue to support and continue to look forward to, but nobody looks back on their homecoming and says, well, I wore this pair of jeans on Thursday and we got the break speed off us on Friday. So we want to win the football game and we want to go 1-0. So that's the most important thing.
Look at your team and think, and you mentioned this just very briefly earlier, about midway through last year, you guys started to get healthy. And obviously you had this great run to wrap up the regular season, a great run into the tournament. There's a compelling case that in your class, you guys have been the best football team when you factor in last year and this year across the state of Indiana. Because, man, it's just been an incredible run with just that one regional loss and all these wins in between.
Yeah, I mean, we're like I said, I think I said this last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, the guy that's not getting a whole lot of credit that should is Brian Woodard. I mean, he really should. And I know that he wouldn't admit that and he probably would never say that, but he's a heck of a football coach and he's a heck of a person. And, his plan has been working, and he put me in a position where I literally just took the keys to the car on the following Monday and kept driving it, and the kids kept following me, and their belief is in what we're doing, and the coaches have belief in each other. So tremendous respect and love for that guy. I mean, he gets a lot of credit, but so do our players, because those are the guys that are doing hard things. They're playing football that not everybody in our school does. There's 78 kids that signed up for it. So it's not a requirement for graduation. It's a right to play football here at Plainfield. I'm very proud of our kids for finding ways to compete and try to win games, whether it's freshman, JV, or varsity. And fortunately, we're in positions to do that week in and week out. And it's been a nice little run here. And as much as it's nice to get a lot of credit and a lot of publicity, it's truly about the kids, because those are the guys that are doing the things that we're asking them to do. And I'm just happy that we're having some early success, and I want to go 1-0 this week versus Greenwood.
We're entering week 5, and whether it was your dad for all those years or Coach Woodard for all those years, used to always say this at week 5. It seems hard to believe after this week you're halfway home. I mean, the football season, unlike anything else, just flies by.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said it last week to our team, with it being like right into early September. We've been going at this thing with helmet and shoulder pads on since June 5th. So we're halfway through what our football season, in terms of you take June, July, August, and now you got really September, October, and into November. So we're halfway. We're fortunately, knock on wood, we're healthy in all aspects of all of our programs, and it really goes fast in terms of once you get into conference play, it's like Groundhog Day every day. So yeah, it's week 5, and here soon will be it'll be Christmas.
And hopefully with the state championship. All right, before we let you go,
absolutely.
Coach, we wrap up the show kind of the same way each week. Maybe someone or someone's behind the scenes of Plainfield football that doesn't get a lot of credit, but you couldn't do it without. Yeah,
this one's probably a little unique. Nick Cochran is a former player for Coach Woodard. He's a 2007 graduate. He was on the 06 team that was really good, successful. He also coached for Coach Woodard a couple of years, but he works for Hui Hats, and got all the coaches designed some Red Pride trucker hats. And
love that.
We all wore them on Friday, and it's been great. And just the support that you get from a guy like Nick, who's obviously an alum, who cares deeply about Plainfield football, has a ton of respect and love for our coaches, since he's worked for or worked with most of those guys, and then just a way to kind of give back to the program. So anytime that we get alum to really just come back and say hi or speak to us or talk to the players is great. So I appreciate Nick for doing that with his company. And, we're going to continue to wear these trucker hats until till forever.
I love it. I love it, Coach.
Yeah.
Man, great start to the season. It's a blast to get out and call these games. Let's get a big win at homecoming on Friday night, and we'll look forward to talking to you next week.
All right. Thank you, Rob. Have a great week.